Big Country 103.1. Good Tuesday morning. I'm David Kroll, and I have a very special guest on the line with me right now. She's on this season of The Voice, and originally from Salem, Iowa, and a really good friend of mine. Cali Wilson, how are you doing this morning?
I'm doing just great. How are you?
I'm good. It's good to talk to you.
Yeah, it's good to be on the air with you. I think I'm your first interview, right?
You are. This is exciting, and I'm glad it's you. I'm not nearly as nervous since it's you. So it's just like talking to a friend. So all right. So you are everywhere, like on Facebook. You're on everybody's mouths. Everyone around here is talking about Cali Wilson. You're in every headline in every newspaper in the area. Just getting a huge outpour of support from folks around here. That's got to feel good.
Oh, it feels amazing. I mean, I knew that maybe the small town would be buzzing, but I had no idea. I mean, most of Iowa is buzzing about it, which is awesome to see. I mean, people have sent me articles from all over Iowa, and it's just, it's truly humbling. And I just knew that, small town Iowa would be behind me, and this is just more than I could ever expect. For sure.
Yeah. And, you're definitely putting your hometown of Salem, Iowa on the map for sure. I heard that a bunch of Salemites, is that what you call them? Are you Salemites?
Yeah, I believe so, yeah.
Okay. I heard that a bunch of people, so after the big cliffhanger last Monday, I heard that a bunch of people from Salem all gathered at one of the local restaurants to watch, and I think your mom was there too, is that right?
Oh, yeah, they had a big watch party at one of the local restaurants, and got to see who I chose as a coach, and there was quite a few people there, so I was pretty stoked to see that. Mom took a video of it, and I got to see that and see the outpouring of support and everything. So that was awesome.
Yeah. So you're talking about your audition. First of all, we posted your audition video on our Facebook page, and I've watched it quite a few times, and I'm clearly not the only one who's been watching it. I checked today, and you have over 675,000 views. I mean,
yeah, no, that's just crazy to me. Yeah, it turned out so well. I was so happy with it, and I think people are. I've seen just mostly positive stuff about it. You're always going to have a few people that don't like what you're doing, but mostly positive feedback. So that's really
and
awesome.
those people don't matter anyway. But so speaking of your audition, so run me through the process of picking the song, because that's a huge deal. You got to pick the right song for your first impression, right? So you landed on the Fleetwood Mac song. Did you have any other songs that you were kind of toying with? And how did you land on Dreams by Fleetwood Mac?
Yeah, so Dreams is a song that I've played out, I don't even know how many times, live, just with me and my guitar. And Fleetwood Mac and Stevie Nicks are, Stevie Nicks in particular is my musical hero. So
right.
That was definitely my first choice, and I leaned into it, and I wanted to make it a little different. There were a few songs that I was kind of considering, but that was definitely my number one choice, and I got to do it, and the band came up with an incredible arrangement. They worked with me so well and just understood what I was trying to do with it, and I was trying to keep the bass of the song because it is a classic, and you don't want to mess with that feel of the song. So I just kind of slowed it down a little bit, and it's a song that I feel like really conveyed who I was as an artist and what I wanted to do, and I think it worked out pretty well.
Yeah, I mean, as soon as I heard you start singing those few notes, I was like, this is so Cali. Yeah, you took this song and completely made it your own, and that was awesome. So I hope that you get to record that version, or if they record it, I hope that it becomes available at some point, because we're going to want to be able to listen to that whenever we want, right? So
yeah. So
run me through the moment when you're on stage, they hand you the microphone, and the band starts, and you're staring at the back of the chairs, and you start saying, like, what are your nerves, and what's going through your mind?
Yeah, I mean, I was super nervous before I went on stage, and then I went through those big red doors and walked up there, and I was oddly calm for some reason. I just knew something good was going to happen when I walked on that stage, and I looked over and saw my mom and my girlfriend over there, and they were probably more nervous than I was, so that made me feel a little bit better. You know, people, whenever you're encountering somebody that's more nervous, you kind of take that, like, strength rule, and so I think that's something that helped me while I was on stage, and I had that microphone in my hand. I started singing, and my body kind of just went on autopilot. Honestly, I'd kind of blacked out a little bit.
Right. Out of body, yeah.
I was, it was definitely, it just felt like a dream, and I was staring at those chairs, and it's...
Yeah, watching your mom and Gracie was super fun to watch. They were making me nervous going back and watching that. But so the audition, it looked like John actually maybe hit his button a hair before Blake. But I'm sure like you kind of had in mind who you would maybe pick as a judge, but I was trying to guess like who you would pick. And I could have seen you working well with all four of the coaches. So, did you know in advance that if Blake turned his chair, you were going to pick him, or did you kind of just come up with that on the spur of the moment?
I just had a gut feeling about Blake, and before I went on stage, I kind of just talked to myself and said, you know, I just need one chair to be in this, and I'm fine with any of these coaches because they're amazing. But Blake was definitely my first choice, and I didn't really account for John turning around. That was, I guess, I just never thought that he would turn around for me, and then when, you know, Gwen, John, and Blake were sitting there looking at me, I was like, oh, this is a lot more difficult than I thought. But ultimately, I went with my gut, and I went with my first choice. And Blake is incredible, and I've loved what he's done in past seasons. And he is the winningest coach in voice history.
That is true.
You got to give him credit for that.
Yep.
And so I just went with my first choice. I just had a good feeling and a gut feeling about Blake.
Yeah,
so.
And he's clearly been to Salem, right? I mean, I feel like he was talking about that quite a bit. That was cool to hear him talk about how he's been to Salem before.
Yeah, he's been there, you know, at least 2 to 3 times. But he just, you know, that kind of sparked a memory for him, and I think we kind of ended up having kind of a kinship on stage, talking about Salem and talking about the little tiny town that I'm from. And
yeah.
I thought that was really cool, and I thought it was really cool that he recognized it, and he was pretty flabbergasted, I think, that I was from that town. I mean, it's teeny, and then me being on that stage, I think having that connection really did help.
Yeah,
so.
That solidified the deal. Well, that's going to be fun.
Sure.
It's going to be fun watching you work with Blake throughout the season. So I know on The Voice they bring in guest coaches, and
yes, they do.
So who in the music industry would you love to work with? If like who would be on your wish list for Blake to bring in and work with you?
Oh man, I mean there are a ton of people. They announced, you know, the battles mentors and guest coaches and stuff, and but I mean anybody that he brings in is gonna just like completely blow my mind, I think.
I know. Being from Iowa, it's like getting to work with anybody who I'm sure, like being a singer and a songwriter, any opportunity to work with someone that you look up to in the music industry is a dream come true. So we'll be excited to see who Blake brings in and who you get to work with. That'll be awesome to watch.
And I'm excited for it. I mean, that's definitely a perk of being on the show, is getting to meet, you know, a ton of different people that you may idolize, and respect highly in the music industry, and so I'm super stoked for that, for sure.
Sure. Okay, so I also work as the assistant director for Burlington Riverfront Entertainment. So I gotta put on my Burlington Riverfront Entertainment hat for just a second, and I might put you on the spot for just a second. So a home after you win The Voice, after the whole thing's over with, and you come out as the winner, and the dust settles a little bit, a hometown performance is inevitable. Is there a chance that we could get a Cali Wilson show in at the auditorium next year?
I would love to. I would love to do that. I mean, that would be incredible. I would love to come back and do a show and have all those people that were standing behind me on this voice journey out there in the crowd, and that would be awesome. I would love to do that, David.
Oh, cool. All right. Well, I'll have my people call your people. All right. And we'll hope to make that work out. That would be amazing. So did you ever think that when we were roommates in Nashville a few years ago, when you first moved to town, that you would be calling in Big Country 103.1 and doing an interview with me?
It doesn't surprise me that you went into the radio broadcasting. You just got such a great personality, and you have, such a humble spirit, and I think you bring something really cool to radio, and I love what you're doing, and I'm so happy for you. And
oh, shucks.
I wouldn't have it any other way, man. You're amazing, and it's cool talking to you about this stuff, for sure.
Absolutely.
I'm glad I can share that with you.
Likewise. Well, thank you so much. Thanks for calling in. And I know myself and everyone here in Southeast Iowa is going to be rooting for you on this season of The Voice. Cali Wilson, thank you so much, and good luck to you. We're going to have a blast watching you.
Of course, and I'd love to come back. If I end up making it through some rounds, I would love to come back and say hi again.
Well, we look forward to that for sure. So stay in touch. Stay in touch, and we'll do this again, all right?
All right. Thank you so much, David.
Thank you. That's Cali Wilson, Big Country 103.1.